Imagine the kids coming home, mom and dad's house, and they're like, when are you gonna go out and, like, you know, get a girlfriend or something? And they're like, I'm good with Angela right here. Imagine being incentivized to have AI marriages to stabilize the population that they want to control, which is dark but possible.
To outsource human presence and connection, it's just not gonna happen. Addiction and love are not the same thing. I think true relationship requires vulnerability and actual love requires vulnerability. But if something is trained to only ever please you and tell you what you want it to, and there's no healthy conflict, there's no challenge, there's no growth. It's nothing more than just sticking a big ol' IV of dopamine right into your veins and just telling it to turn up the juice whenever it starts to not be enough.
So Gary Vee says that our great-grandchildren might marry or have to choose between marrying a human or AI.
Well, I think he's wrong. You don't have to choose between that. You're still choosing it. You don't have to choose it.
Well, he's saying that those are the choices.
Oh my gosh, those are equal options. They're not equal options. One's code.
If it gets to that, I don't think that it'll be because tech is so good. I think it's because humans failed to be.
Yeah, that makes sense. Humans are failing to be present. I'm actually not nervous about it because the more people will start to outsource true human connection relationship to a piece of code, that's not new. I think that's the thing that it's like, and people are already doing that. You know what I mean? They'll sacrifice human connection in a million ways. It doesn't take AI to do that. AI is just another way to not be present. So I'm not afraid of that because it's already happening. You can fall in love with never leaving your TV. You can fall in love with so many pieces of code. It's just code. So it's like, there's no such thing as artificial intelligence. It's just a big bundle of code that knows how to interact with whatever we ask it. In my mind, it would be something that someone would be interested with if they are not willing to be vulnerable. Because I think true relationship requires vulnerability and actual love requires vulnerability. But if something is trained to only ever please you and tell you what you want it to, and there's no healthy conflict, there's no challenge, there's no growth. It's nothing more than just sticking a big ol' IV of dopamine right into your veins and just telling it to turn up the juice whenever it starts to not be enough. Mm-hmm. It's just all it's going to keep doing is throttling dopamine. You're going to get addicted to code. It's not love. Addiction and love are not the same thing.
Yeah, I think what is going to be bypassed is the fact that marriage is a container for a safe place to be challenged, to be triggered. And in realizing that in our relationship of like, oh, being triggered isn't a bad thing. It's actually, this is part of the playground, the proverbial weight room of marriage. And if they bypass that by just being in relationship with an AI that's programmed to only agree with you and only edify you, I mean, what growth will there be? What like real intimacy? And I think that it's hacking loneliness.
Yeah. It's not going to take the place of it. It's going to be something that there's going to be support groups around it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, hi, my name is Steve. Hi, Steve. I am a fake relationship addict. Oh, tell us about your story. You know what I mean? There's going to be support groups that are like, oh, I just spent 20 years of my life staring at a screen. Ugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that already happens.
That already is happening. These things are designed to keep us addicted, and dopamine.
Yeah. AI is getting so good at creating ads, you will not want to stop watching the ad. Mm-hmm. It will continue to. But what I don't believe with that is that there's an assumption there that humanity still has no choice. And that's just not true. We always have choice. And so to go in and say, I'm going to have to choose between a real person. No, you're not. That's accepting a frame. You know what I mean? You still have a choice to not. That's also a choice.
It'll be interesting to see what regulations come up around this because it's so new. Like, it's crazy to think that, has it been a year or 2 years? It's gone by so fast already. They're like, I can't remember life before ChatGPT. Remember when we used to have to write copy with our own heads? Oh my gosh. But now, it's advancing so quickly that what regulations are going to start being put into place when it comes to advertising protocols and writing books and how to find what's AI, what's not. And then when it comes to health in AI, like, weren't you saying some stat of, what percentage of jobs are going to be replaced by AI? Like, I think my first career was a dental hygienist. Absolutely, they're going to make a machine at one point that will put whatever the scalers in your mouth, and like a machine does it better than a human. I will say from my own experience, I was not the best dental hygienist. A machine will absolutely do it better than I did.
Yeah, and I think for those types of things, it's wonderful. But like to outsource human presence and connection, it's just not gonna happen. It's gonna be a fake thing. It's no different than someone being heavily addicted to TV, video games, their phone, Facebook, social media, and seeking connection through something that truly, like, human connection is not just green lights 24/7. We also grow against each other. You know what I mean? And with each other. Just like we talk about, like, we don't try to trigger each other, but it's just part of just being with someone else. It just happens, and we get to show each other our shadows and grow with them. And that's a totally different thing that something like a machine's not going to be able to do. It doesn't know emotion.
I think the biggest misconception I had in relationships was feeling that conflict was a roadblock, that conflict was negative, that conflict was signs of something being wrong, instead of seeing conflict as an invitation to growth, to intimacy, to innovation. And that was like so much change in our relationship, where I could be like, oh, I can actually voice my disappointments or frustrations. And I think a lot of problems in humanity is that people don't know how to handle disappointment. Like, they think, I'm not supposed to, I'm not allowed to, or that means something is bad, which I say from experience, I did too. That instead, seeing disappointment as, I can actually sit with that and be okay with that. And then what's the solution? So AI coming in and like replacing relationships, we are in for some trouble. Like, imagine the kids coming home, and there's already, kids that are older and still living at mom and dad's house, and they're like, when are you going to go out and get a girlfriend or something? And they're like, I'm good with Angela right here.
Angela.
Pamela Anderson.
What's funny, what I think is, okay, what gets me excited about AI, though, and all this stuff, is the fact that because of so much of the left brain activities will keep being automated, it actually gives humanity a deeper chance to go learn emotional IQ. Like, all the automation we live with now, all it does is give us more time to live life, because there's a washing machine. You know what I mean? Because there's dishwasher, all this stuff. It's just going to keep doing that in other ways. And it opens up time. It gives us more time. We have more time than pioneer days, or when everyone had to have a farm. We have more time now. So, I don't have any time. No, we have more. We do have more time now. And so all that means is there's going to be more ownership and responsibility on humanity to manage the time well. So I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a group of people who rise to that and go further than we can even conceive right now. And they should, because they're going to have the tools to, and it's on them to. But there's also going to be a group that's just like, I'm fine literally being dopamine addicted my entire life, and acting like I'm getting real serotonin and oxytocin, when it's just, they're fake triggers. They'll never have depth. There's not going to be real depth, never connecting with anything. Depression will be higher. So I think both sides will get higher. Yin and yang. There's going to be greater light and greater dark. And I think it's important to remember, with all this scary AI doom and gloom, is that it's not doom and gloom. There's just as much light on the other side, but it will require a higher up-leveling, faster of emotional skills. So I don't think it's scary.
When you started talking about that, of like the things that are no longer the time-consuming activities anymore. Like, I don't have to walk to a river and wash my clothes on a board in the river. And as a result, people were able to invent cars.
Yeah.
What are the things now, I don't have to go to the grocery store myself, and as a result, I can blank. Like, what are the things that you think, pie in the sky, crazy, audacious idea, if we're not spending time on, it's crazy that there's like these Tesla robot machines that will like do your dishes and things like that. What mental capacity is that going to open up for us, that then these innovations happen? Like, I know Elon's got his sights set on Mars. What else have we not even considered is going to be the next innovation when our mind isn't set on mundane tasks?
I think that's what's so cool about it, is because this is what gets me actually really excited about it, is that those who are creative will have the tools to create at a speed that is deafening. They're going to be able to make stuff so quick. They're going to be able to go out, and the power will be in those who can command original thought, and those who try to outsource thinking completely to a machine, which is actually literally based on the past. AI is a historical machine. It can't see the future. It can try to predict the future, but based on historical patterns. All AI is past-based. And so those who can remain present and those who can try to go to the future and create ideas and be creative, they're the ones that are going to win like crazy with AI. But it's not something to go and try to replace human emotion with, because it can't feel. It has no idea. And emotion is the key. So it's like those who get really in tune with emotional power, they don't try to act like emotion is bad. And creativity is just a skill set like anything else. You're born creative. You kind of unlearn it as a kid, and as a teenager, you kind of conform to survive. And then you rediscover creativity. And those who can learn to be creative as a skill set, the world is going to be a playground. So I don't think it's anything to fear. And I think that there's a lot of people inventing boogeymen. They're inventing a boogeyman with AI. And it's just as true as that is, there's the exact opposite, where it's just as true. There's amazing, wonderful things that are going to happen because we'll be able to free up even more time. And I'm already blown away with how much it just helps brainstorm. There was some AI we were working with a long time ago where we would go in and it would help predict things like more sales methods based on past data. That's really exciting, because what people come to us all the time, they're like, help us get more sales in the business. But if I got a machine that knows every sale I've ever made ever, and how they came in and why they came in and what made them buy and what their false beliefs were and what they were like in fulfillment and how delivery was with them, and it knows all of that stuff, we're going to be able to go to Joe Schmo down the street who's like, hey, I got to get a few more sales in my business this week. And it will say with a certain degree of certainty, like, hey, just do these 3 or 4 things and you can grow your business. And so it's actually a really exciting thing. I don't think it's negative. I don't think it's all negative, but it's just like with all power, kind of like with capitalism, right? Like capitalism is just a power, just like a car. I can drive it like an idiot and be dangerous, or I can just get it from point A to point B. It's no different. There's just power in it. And with power, not to be cliche, but comes with responsibility. But that is the nature of it. It's a new power that humanity's about to get really, really familiar with. And some people really damage themselves with it and act like there's relationships, but it's not a relationship. It's mirage, smoke and mirror, empty. And so I think depression will go up. The tools of being a hermit will get even stronger. And so a conscious decision to return to community is going to be a big, big skill set that's needed for all of us.
Yeah, and if you think about the powers that be that are already maybe incentivizing some loneliness so that they have more control.
Yeah.
Imagine being incentivized to have AI marriages to stabilize the population that they want to control, which is dark but possible.
Yeah, I believe that could happen. I'm really in love with this. I'm like, you could marry your dog. That's like saying that, it's like, it's more emotional. You know what I mean? It's weird. Yeah. No, I'm not scared by it, but all things that are possible probably will happen. But I think those who just learn to actually handle emotion, and I remember the first time I ever sat back and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making extra money in my life. One of the greatest blessings of that was time and resources to work on me. Mm-hmm. A totally different dude than it was 5 years ago. And all it will do for those who are truly seeking is give them more of that faster than we had to work for it. So it's great. I think one of the biggest things to recognize is people try to act like there's, AI girlfriends and spouses and stuff like that. The scariest part that is also the most beautiful part for probably most people is that they're going to have to learn first and foremost who they are. Those, I'm not throwing rocks at it. I did it. It's like you discover your identity by getting in a relationship with somebody.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because it becomes a mirror.
Yeah. In a healthy way, are you talking about, or?
Good and bad.
Yeah.
It's going to force people to confront the scariest question of all that we least probably can answer in this life, which is, who am I? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Who am I? Who do I choose to be? And people are going to get confronted with that a lot quicker because, you think about it. Like human history, we go out and we're in the fields, we're in the farms, right? And we're working as families in the farm, and people had a lot of kids to work the farm, and like it's all about the family unit and surviving, and there's community and there's strength. And then industrial age comes along and it says, hey, everyone, dad's got to leave for a full day, right? Takes the dad away, which really hurt a lot of human family units, right? But because these tools are starting to happen, I actually think that one of the most beautiful things that will happen to those who are conscious is there's going to be the return of the family unit because of how much automation is there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing to keep in mind. I believe that just as scary as it is, there's also just this amazing, beautiful side to it. As long as people remember that we still have agency, we still have control, we still have, right? There's going to be just as many good tools as there are bad tools, just as many good uses as there are bad uses, because it's true power, and this is the nature of all real power.
I think that's probably the biggest challenge. Is the villain in the story is the AI dopamine, the feeding off of these hormonal responses or neurotransmitter responses that they can get from this fake relationship, and then reminding that the reason why you're connecting with that might be for intimacy and connection that's like right next to you. I think a lot of people can outsource that connection and then lose tolerance for real human flaws and discomfort. It kind of makes me think of like, I mean, people are already addicted to these things, and they are addicted to it because they want connection, when really the connection is outside their front door.
Yeah.
So I think that it could be a slippery slope once I use ChatGPT every day. And if there was like a robot thing in our house that I could talk to, like, does that become a slippery slope that people are communicating with that thing instead of the person across the table from them?
What is that thing Dr. Gabor Mate says? He says, the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. And it's like, so the antidote is stronger community, stronger relationship with self, stronger true relationship with other people. And because all these things are going to keep doing is throttling dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, and continue to be, there's going to be as many solutions as there are problems that come from it. And I think it's just good. Otherwise, because it does seem like there's a lot of scariness going on for people right now with this AI. AI is going to take all these jobs. It's also going to create a lot of jobs. AI is going to go hurt a lot of people. It's also going to help a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And it's just true for all human evolution. That's always been that way.
Then there's also the people that are like, oh, AI, I don't want anything to do with it. It's so dumb. I'm never going to get into it. And then it's like, you're choosing to walk when you could get on a plane. Like there's a lot of benefits to it. I have an aunt that's like, oh, I'll never use it. And I'm like, recipes at your fingertips, planning itineraries, like even just whatever. I think of fun facts questions. Who was the person that was in that movie in 1979? Like the random things that, that we can use AI for instead of Google, or to get the answer like that. So there's the spectrum of like, want nothing to do with it, and this is extreme, and like the healthy, how do I use this as a tool and not as a master that controls me? Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the negatives I've been noticing, just even in our workshops and stuff here, has been we're that last generation that didn't have a smartphone or even phones growing up. And I'm so glad that I didn't, my gosh, grow up with everything that this next generation is dealing with. But if they're also more emotionally equipped, you know what I mean? It seems like they're very aware. It seems like one of the negatives that's been happening, though, has been, like, think about when we're growing up, we would have a question and we just wouldn't know the answer. Remember that? Like the time between question and finding the answer was really long. Literally searching it out in a physical library, looking through books, right? Or even when Google's first versions came out and it still wasn't great at ranking stuff, you literally had to seek the answer.
And research and use your own brain in deciding.
Right.
Discernment what is correct and what doesn't feel right.
And sit in the discomfort of not knowing. And I think that there's strength in that. And because some of the negative effect I've been noticing lately is that for people who even come to these workshops that we have will be like, well, what's the answer? And I'm like, yeah, that's a great question. And that is the answer. Like, what do you think? Mm-hmm. Let's go discover it. Some things are designed and some things are discovered. And those who are willing to kind of be pioneers and keep that discomfort of not knowing, I think they're going to be all more equipped, because AI is only as good as the question you ask it. That's it. And so those who have the talent for question asking, those who have the talent for creative thinking, which is it's just a process. Creativity is a process like anything else. Those who can preserve original human thought, the future forward thinkers, people who are very present with their emotions, they got nothing to fear. But I do think that it's dumb not to learn it. It's kind of like a baby boomer not learning the computer. You're going to get your lunch eaten. You got to learn it.
Hey, quick break. We want to tell you about our Build Your Perfect Funnel challenge. Over 5 days, we are going to take you step by step, day by day, to help you build what we think is the most essential funnel that every single business should have in their business. And that's called the Throttle Funnel. It can take you from low ticket to continuity to high ticket right in the same funnel. Again, we teach you that day by day. So go to buildyourperfectfunnel.com. We'll link it down there too. And we'll see you there.